Thank you everyone for being here today at this info session for the Polsky Center Summer Accelerators programs. My name is Lucas Peralta, and I'm an associate director at the Polsky Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation here at the University of Chicago, and I'm the program director for the Summer Accelerators. So in this info session, we're going to go over some key overview and changes. We're going to talk about components of the accelerator. We're going to talk about applying, and then we're going to have an opportunity for questions at the very end. And as you might have noticed, I am saying accelerators and not accelerator. So the Polsky Summer Accelerators are meant to support students and recent graduates during their summer quarter to help build and launch ventures. We use a cohort model, and we use in-kind resources, coaching, educational content, and funding to help you rapidly advance in the progress of your venture. So, like I said, 2 summer accelerators. Think of these as tracks of the old accelerator. Broadly speaking, both of these are based off of the previous summer accelerator model, if you are familiar with that model. But we saw that students fell into one of 2 categories. We saw students who had utilized things like the New Venture Challenge and previous funding to build momentum and were ready to launch and sell and fundraise and, broadly speaking, maintain momentum. And we also saw a lot of students who had really, really great ideas, but were a little bit earlier stage and we're looking to do market validation work, move towards building an MVP, move towards a pilot program. And we're looking for expertise in kind of putting together the key components of a venture. So that is what the build and launch accelerators are about. We are, depending on where you are in your stage of company, we hope that you might apply to one of these 2 programs that it fits your stage of company best. So broadly speaking, like I said, both of these are descendants of the previous model, if you're familiar with that. And they have some shared goals. We want to foster growth via education and experiential opportunity. We want to help founders work exclusively on their startups over the summer, really make that summer quarter an opportunity to broaden the efforts that they are putting into their venture. And we want to build cohorts that both foster cooperation and foster a deep sense of integrity in the Chicago entrepreneurial community. And the eligibility for both programs looks exactly the same. So broadly speaking, full and part-time students from any school at the University of Chicago, alumni within 5 years of graduation. So if you're graduating at the end of this quarter, you're still eligible to do it this summer. And it's both for-profit and nonprofit ventures are welcome in the Summer Accelerator. So one thing that has often been a requirement is that you have to be in Chicago, but that is not a requirement this year, mainly because we are uncertain as to the extent to which we will be able to offer co-working space in the Polsky Exchange, and we are going to be doing a lot of work remotely in this program. So there's really no benefit for us forcing you to be in a specific place at a specific time. Applications are due on March 31st at 10 a.m., but I will give you more details on that a little bit later in this presentation. So first I want to talk about the Build Accelerator. So the focus area here is customer and market validation. We want teams moving towards the creation of a pilot or MVP, and we want to immerse you in the educational opportunities that the Polsky Center is an expert in related to early stage venture creation. So this is going to be a really in-depth kind of boot camp towards what it means to validate and launch a business. Resources include a $6,500 non-dilutive stipend. So weekly workshops focused on product development and market validation. You would get dedicated coaching from the Polsky Center staff. And then we have a suite of in-kind services that is very similar to the one we use in the New Venture Challenge. So think of, this includes AWS credits, often maybe some legal office hours, incorporation assistance. That list of in-kind services is always kind of evolving. And so if you want to talk more about the in-kind services, I'm happy to have a conversation with you one-on-one and show you what it looks like at a given moment in time, but it may look a little bit different this summer. And you should apply to the Build Accelerator if you are at the idea stage or you are in the process of validating idea, you are still moving towards a pilot or MVP or kind of early stage testing of the market. Broadly speaking, we expect a lot of teams to want to do this before the New Venture Challenge. So if you are thinking about kind of doing work developing your venture over the summer, but you want to do like the New Venture Challenge next year, this is a good track to do that in. And potentially if you are not in the market, or if you are minimally in the market for cases like CPG products where maybe you're in very small number locations and haven't branched out beyond that. The Launch Accelerator, the mission of that is going to focus on fundraising strategy, sales and marketing, customer acquisition. It's going to be about taking the momentum that you already have and really working to launch your venture in an earnest way. So this track actually comes with a $10,000 safe investment in your startup. There's a lot of optional educational content, but we don't want the educational content to get in the way of the work you have to do to either sell or fundraise. It's going to have access to dedicated coaches with expertise in fundraising, sales, and marketing, so very similar to the coaches in the New Venture Challenge, if you're familiar with those. We are going to help you network with VCs and Chicago Innovation Partners. It, of course, will also come with the normal package of in-kind services. And we will also be helping you build, pitch, and fundraising decks, and hopefully we can help you with some in-kind legal services. So why would you apply to the Launch Accelerator? You have robust evidence of traction, and you know that you have product market fit. If your product or service is ready for some seed funding, if you are looking to fundraise, if your product or service is already in the market and your goal is just to grow in that market, and broadly speaking, similar to the other one we think of as pre-NVC, we hope that a lot of teams that are going to do the NVC this year are going to be interested in the launch track this summer as a way to maintain and build further momentum. I mentioned this earlier, but this is going to be one of the big questions that we just don't know the answer to. I don't know if we're going to have access to co-working space quite yet. We are following CDC guidelines as best we can with our co-working and incubator space, the Polsky Exchange on 53rd Street. We are planning for basically all of the programming to be accessible virtually, which is good for teams who may not be working in Chicago. If we can get access to the Polsky Exchange, we will keep you up to date, but we can't make any promises. So, expectations for the program should you wish to apply. You should plan on working full-time on your business. This is not a part-time summer program. This is meant for you to spend your summer dedicated to either the build or the launch of your venture. Not all of the programming is mandatory, but we do expect you to attend programming that we deem as mandatory. This isn't an opportunity for you just to kind of on an ad hoc basis pick and choose which programs we expect you to do. We've designed this with the goal of really helping you accelerate your venture and really help, and in a way where we can really understand the needs of your venture, and we just can't do those same assessments if you are not attending the programs. We expect you to remain accountable to our coaches and mentors. Keep open lines of communication on your progress, stay on track with any milestones that you set, and just be really willing to spend the summer fully immersed in the advancement of your venture. So the timeline, if you're familiar with past accelerator timelines, shouldn't be that surprising. The application we hope to be up this week. The applications are not due until March 31st, 31st, the very end of March at 10 a.m. Interviews will take place the next week, and admissions will just begin shortly after. It's kind of a rolling admissions process where we take meetings with teams as quickly as possible and begin admitting teams based off of the best fit for the program. Final acceptances are generally issued by April or May, and we usually have a late May, early June orientation before the program begins in earnest on June 21st. June 21st is also the same day as the start of the summer quarter. So the summer accelerators, they align with the summer quarter at the University of Chicago. And this will all culminate in a demo day, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a bit. I guess right now. So the demo day is a big event. We don't know if it'll be in person or not this year, for the same reason we don't know if we have access to co-working space this year or not. For teams that are ready to fundraise, this will be an opportunity to pitch to the Chicago investment community. And for those who are maybe earlier stage and aren't ready for investment, there will still be an opportunity for you to showcase your work and network with the investment and entrepreneurial community, so that way you can begin relationship building for future fundraisers. I want to make something really, really clear. Even though there are kind of two versions of the accelerator this year, they are not differentiated based on the quality of your business idea. Meaning, we do not take the best teams for the launch program and put the rest of the teams in the build program. It's purely about stage. You can have a very, very good idea and fit better into the build program. We want you to think very carefully about what it is you want out of your summer and apply to the accelerator program that best fits the stage of your venture. Remember that even though the build track has a little bit less money, that money is non-dilutive, meaning we think of those teams as maybe not quite investment ready, whereas the teams that are ready to launch, we want to be the first money in on your company, which is going to give you clout and give you momentum in fundraising with future investors. So if you want to talk to someone about which program is right for you, do not hesitate to reach out to the Polsky Center. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. I will list my contact information at the end of this presentation. The application, which should be up as probably this week, is nothing that's going to surprise you. It's going to be a 1-minute pitch video. It's going to be short answer questions about your business and your operations to date. And you're going to give us a sense for what your team looks like via resumes. I've mentioned that even though the application is going to be up very soon, probably this week, it's not meant for you to apply super early. We want the application live so you can see what the application looks like, but we would like you to apply much closer to the March 31st date. Why? Because we want the most up-to-date picture of your progress as possible. Many of you between now and the deadline are going to do things like I-Core, an NVC track, take advantage of the educational content at the Polsky Center. We want to see the most up-to-date version of your venture when you apply. And that means we expect you to apply on March 30th or March 31st, right? You can begin the application, begin writing what is going to turn into your application before then, but please give us the most up-to-date about your venture so that we are in the loop when we are making decisions about the different cohorts. If you have any concerns about the timeline, just in terms of it being too early, too late, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. The short answer questions are going to be pretty simple. They're going to have you articulate your team and the experience that your team brings to the venture. They're going to ask you to explain your value proposition, your market, what customers you're going after, what your product and service looks like. And they're going to ask you to articulate milestones and goals for the accelerator. What do you want out of the summer? And where do you hope to be at the end of the summer? And we also encourage you to provide evidence, customer interviews, broad market research. Like we want you to think of this as persuasive writing and convince us that what you are working on is both viable and a good fit for the summer accelerators. The pitch video is more of an opportunity for you to get tell your narrative. Like, what are you solving? Why are you solving it? Like, what drove you to solve that problem? Like, did you experience a pain point and you just really wanted to innovate? Like, tell us your story, be creative, get us excited about your venture, and help us to understand why it is that you're trying to tackle the problem that you are trying to tackle. Remember, these aren't going to exceed more than 1 minute, so don't overthink it, but we encourage you to be creative and be concise. The way this is just going to work is you're going to upload it to some sort of platform and you're going to submit a link. There'll be a place for you to submit a link on the application.